Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So I want to talk about in this video why I feel like, and this is my personal opinion, why the HTC U11 might be the phone of the year for 2017. Now up to this point, we've gotten the G6, we've gotten the S8, we got the iPhone 7 Plus from last year. We got a few phones that have come out that tried to rival this. We got the OnePlus 5, but I think the HTC U11 is more of a complete package as far as my experience goes, and several other people out there might disagree or they might agree, but just hear me out. So I know that the phone that most people like is the Galaxy S8 or the S8 Plus. Well, in my experience, those phones are fantastic, but I don't really see them as a complete package for purchase. Now, right now, currently, you can buy them on sale, but that sale is probably going to end. So those phones are $575 and $650, I believe, or something like that right now on sale. And I think those are fantastic prices. But the U11 is pretty much already middle ground, already there. It's at $650, or you can catch it for $599 sometimes. And I've seen it as low as $580 on Amazon on some kind of specials at one point or another. And HTC also has the U Ultra, which is another good phone that you could possibly get. While not phone of the year, I think the U11 just might take it. Now you're probably saying, Jay, how can you make that claim and we don't have the iPhone 8 or 7S, or we don't have the Note 8? Well, here's why. We already know what those are going to be. We know what TouchWiz is going to be like, because we're basically looking at the S8 Plus with the addition of the S Pen software. If you disagree with that, I perfectly respect that, but that's what it's been. They take from the S line and they make the Note. Now the Note will be superior, obviously, to some of these other phones out there, but is it a complete package? And what makes it dip out of the complete package category is the price. We know that the price will be at least $799, at least. The Note has to cost more than the Galaxy S8 Plus. It just has to. So the price is, to me, is probably going to kick the Note 8 out of the perfect or complete package. Now, while I do agree with you, because I know what you're going to say, the S Pen suite is fantastic. I totally agree. But I feel like, am I buying those extra features at $400 more? Is it actually worth it? Probably not. Because there is software out there that you can get on your phone that'll allow you to do pretty much some of those things on your device if that's what you need. Or most people have a tablet, or they have a computer. They have something else to do that work on. But having those features in your pocket, in your hand, that is a plus. And so we also know that the Note 8 will have a different body, and it'll be a little bit bigger and more squared off than the S8 Plus. And I think some people might love, hate. We don't know yet. Now, I will be reviewing, obviously, the Note 8 because that's going to be a fantastic phone. I'm sure it will. But is it going to be the complete package? At this point, I don't feel like the S8 Plus is a complete package because those two phones, the S8, and I think the S8 is more of a complete package, but it comes down to software and performance. And that is another area where some people are going to say, I don't get any lag. I don't get any of this. I don't have those problems. Well, I think Samsung really screwed up by adding the Bixby button. I think that was a horrible idea. I don't think that was a smart move. And I think they really got to do something about that. They won't let you remap the button. Most of us have resorted to switching that button or to something else or killing it off, period. And I used Samsung Disabler, which is an app I bought years ago, and it still works. So you've got phones like the S8 and the S8 Plus, who some of you feel is the complete package, but I don't think so, because the only reason it's good right now is because it's on sale. But you still have the same software, you still have Bixby, and some people say, oh, Bixby's great. Great, but Bixby could have just been an application, not a built-in button on your phone. Didn't have to be that way. Now, the S8, again, is a solid device. But is it the complete package? Okay, so it does have an iris scanner, and I don't have an iris scanner on my U11. It does have wireless charging. I don't have wireless charging. Okay, I can live without those because the price of the phone is not warranted for that high price for those little small upgrades or add-ons. So you figure that out for yourself. Now, any other phones? Well, you have the iPhone 8 or 7S or whatever it's going to be called. Those phones are coming, right? But are they going to be a competitor for the U11. See, a lot of people that don't have the U11 would tell you not to buy it because it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that. I don't think you should listen to those people. I think if you want to try it, you should go ahead and try it because it's a great form factor, it's a good size, and the main thing that really destroys some other phones with the U11 is the cameras. Now, this is actually the front camera of the U11. And I'm not in a well-lit area. It's just two windows behind the camera, like in my office, and that's it. I'm just sitting here, no lights on, nothing. Look at how well it makes this video look. So I tried to do this video with my OnePlus 5 and it just was too dark. It just didn't do well. In this same setting, it just didn't look right. And I just feel like there are so many things about the U11 to like more than dislike. Now you can call out what you feel like it doesn't have. That's perfectly fine. You could do that if you don't have the phone, that's fine. But the U11 is definitely winning in performance, cameras, build quality, and some people say, wow, the U11 HTC has the prettiest phone out. I gotta agree. This is probably the best looking device that's come out this year. Now, I know that it scratches easy probably, or it gets fingerprints easy, so you don't need to put a case on it when you go outside or whatever. But you think about what you're getting. You're getting the latest processor at the moment, which will take you into next year and beyond. It'll still work good. It's really efficient on battery. This phone only has a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. I hate to say only, but I feel like phones should have way bigger batteries than that. The flagships should have some big batteries, and they just don't. But for it to have a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, it definitely lasts all day, and you get lots of screen on time. You get great battery life from this thing because Sense UI is optimized great. And if you don't like Android skins on your phones, most people will go ahead and resort to using Nova Launcher, which is just top dog for a lot of people. I bought Nova Launcher Prime a long time ago. I still use it sometimes, but with Sense, I don't really need to use it because it is optimized so well and it performs so well. It performs better than TouchWiz. So Samsung UI, I think it's called Grace UI or something like that. Samsung Experience, I think that's what might be what it's called now. It performs better than that, And as far as the iPhone goes, we know what the iPhone 7s or iPhone 8 software is going to be. The only thing you're getting on that is pretty much just a hardware bump. And let's hope that they even do one, because I've seen some of the latest leaks, and there's several different devices being shown here. There's like 3 or 4 different iPhone leaks that are out there with different devices, and I still don't think that it's gonna be a better looking device than the U11. And some people will go on record and go on the benchmarks and say, oh, the iPhone's king of benchmarks. So what? I mean, so it can open and close apps faster. That doesn't mean that it's the best phone. So the U11 to me it does have waterproofing now. It has a little bit of waterproofing. I have gotten this phone wet several times intentionally. So to me, I know DxOMark ranked this phone really high for cameras, but I'm going on real world tests. So to me, I think the iPhone's cameras don't match the U11, front or rear. The front zoom the rear zoom on the iPhone 7 Plus is actually really solid. It's pretty stable. It's a little bit better than the OnePlus, I believe. But the OnePlus to me is a little bit better than the iPhone 7 Plus's cameras. The iPhone 7 and the mics on this thing are really good. But the U11 is winning in the camera, and I know DxO put it at a 90. I saw that and I was kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. They'll rank this phone higher, but they actually didn't. And in my experience, this phone is really close to the U11, but the U11 has way better front camera, and the rear cameras are pretty much almost really close. So definitely Samsung with the Note 8, we know what that camera is going to be. It's going to be the same one that's in the S8. They're not going to make very many changes, folks. You have to face that. So if you're looking for a super camera to be in the Note 8, at this point, I haven't seen any leaks that say otherwise. So that's something that also takes the Note 8 out of this, for me, the perfect phone for 2017, or the best phone of 2017. I just don't see it happening. I don't feel like the price is going to be warranted for the Note 8. And this is something that we already know. It's not about that first price of a phone, the initial price of a phone, says a lot about what the OEM is doing. So you know, I feel like the way HTC released the U11 at $649, and then they gave a promo for $50 off, they killed it, man. They did this, and they're still doing a summer sale now. You know, they've got the Ultra for $499. That's a even better deal than a lot of phones out. A lot of people haven't experienced the Ultra, so they don't know. But the Ultra is great. So if you can't get the U11, if you want to save $150, you may miss out on like the squeeze feature, which is so nice and very useful. You may miss out on the cameras not being tad bit but you know, the speakers are still good on. You still got dual speakers. You got a bigger screen. You got a secondary display. There's a lot about the U Ultra to like. But I feel like the U11 rounds it out with cameras, price, performance, build quality, screen, speakers. It's got waterproofing. You know, it's got fast charging. It's just a great phone, and I think it's really almost a complete package, to the point where the only thing I would have wished for more is the speakers to be a little bit better quality, and possibly a bigger battery, because I know they can fit it in there depending on how their internals are inside this phone. You know, and stretch out the screen a little bit more. Give me a 5.7 or a 5.8, because it can fit in this body. But again, it depends on the internals and how it's, you know, being done, you know, inside the phone. We often say that, oh, they should have put a bigger screen in there, but we don't know what the internals look like in the phone on the board and how they can actually fit stuff in. But another phone that's not to be left out is the G6. Now, the G6 is a competitor as far as price goes. This phone came out at what, $699 or something like that, or $550 or $650 or something. It came out, I don't remember the initial price, but it's basically $500 since it left the gate. All of a sudden, the carriers just dropped the price on this phone, and I got mine for $500. And this build quality is definitely one to rival the U11. Because, you know, I like that metal chassis. You know, I really love the way this phone looks and feels in the hand. And you get a bigger screen, you know. You get a bigger screen. You get that wide angle camera. But unfortunately, the quality of these cameras, the front camera on the G6 is not matching the U11 by a long shot. It's just not happening. And when I gave my review of the G6, and there will be a revisited video on the G6 soon, when I gave my review of this phone, I told you guys that the front camera, you know, just doesn't do it. The rear camera, though, manual mode, this phone is great. I think what they need to do with this phone is they need to give us a spec bump on the front camera, and then also they need to allow manual mode front-facing video. Because then, you know, you've got phones also, I mean, $500 for this that's a steal. And, you know, you've got fantastic build quality, you've got really good rear camera, you've got good battery life, great hardware. I mean, it's good. I mean, come on, it's good. You've also got phones like the up-and-coming people. The phone is the essential phone. $699 is where that phone comes in. And again, is it going to be the complete package? We don't know yet. But we also know it's coming in at $699. Now, if they decide to do some promo and drop it to $599, it's gonna fly off the shelves. If they do some kind of initial, we're sorry we made you wait, it's gonna fly off the shelves at $599. It's gonna just zoom off the shelves. And all those people said, oh no, they're gonna go and buy it then. But it's got a titanium build. It's got stock Android. It's got a beautiful edge-to-edge display. It's a small body. You know, I don't know. It's going to be offering a lot, but again, that price point at $699 or $750, you know, whichever they're going to price it at, that's going to kill it for a lot of people. So I think the U11, as long as they keep it no higher than $650, and then they keep doing those promos for $599, or they'll probably do one for $550 eventually, the older the phone gets. Even so, man, the cameras on this thing, I can't wait to test. Speaking of cameras, they just announced, today is August 7th, and they just announced that 60 frames per second is coming to the U11. And then the weird part about that is they say in the coming months. I'm like, come on, send that software. I would rather have that than some Alexa. I don't even use that Alexa. I did that update Have not turned it on. Not interested. Google Google Assistant is my assistant. I'm not really interested in anything else. I think the Google Assistant is the best assistant by a long shot. But 60 frames per second is coming. Now, what I need with that, I need them to give me a spec bump as far as software update for the front camera to where I'll be able to do 60 frames per second at least, or 4K recording on the front, because see, that's where the essential phone is going to win. And being able to do a 4K video on the front of, why is this so hard? It's not very difficult. I've got a 16 megapixel camera on the front that can do 1080p. Let me do 60 frames per second at least. That saves people from buying a DSLR, buying a digital camera, buying a mirrorless camera, spending all the money in two places, when cell phones are very capable. I mean, think about it. This is the front camera of the U11. And again, no lights on. My desk lights are off. It's just two windows that are cracked open. And look at how it brightens up the scene. And look at how clear it is. So just a quick video. Yes, the new iPhone's coming. Yes, the Note 8 is coming. Yes, the Essential phone is coming. Yes, there's other phones out there. Now, you do have the XZ Premium, far from being the complete package again, because the price is too high. And then also no fingerprint reader. That just kills it right there for a lot of people. Now, you could get the international version, which I've seen it for like $670. Still, you got to worry about import, no warranty, just a bunch of different things. So I just named a few phones that I want to talk about, but definitely the iPhone is coming. The V30 is coming. Now, you probably say, Jay, you didn't touch on the V30. Well, the V30 is coming, but the V30 isn't going to cost $600. Come on. It's not. They're not going to do it, because the V30 is in a different class in the V series and the G6, the G series, and it has to cost more. They can't do that. They can't release the V30 and make it less than the G6. They just can't do it. So there will be bonuses and promos and stuff like that coming from carriers, but complete package. And one thing that makes the U11 fall away from being a complete package is it's only offered on Sprint. Even though there's a version of it that's available for every carrier, it's exclusive to Sprint if you want to get it on a carrier. That sucks. Another thing that makes this phone good is the 128 gig option. While that price is a little overpriced, it's still priced less than other phones that's trying to compete. I guess the iPhone will be the only phone that has a 128 gig model that costs more than the HTC U11's 128 gig model, because the OnePlus 5 definitely has a 128 gig model that's only $540. Let me tell you, the OnePlus is a great option, but it can't be considered the complete package because of availability. It doesn't have a Quad HD display, which is something I want. If you're going to give me 8 gigs of RAM, chop 2 of that off and give me a Quad HD display. It has the fastest charging I've ever experienced. There's a lot to like about this phone, but the front cameras don't rival this phone, and the rear cameras are solid, close match. But there's some things about this that can't be considered for me to make it a complete package. But that doesn't mean it's a bad phone. I mean, 540, 128 gigs, 8 gigs of RAM, customizable with no launchers and things like that. There's tons to like about this phone. But availability, man, you got to go directly to OnePlus. You got to rely on them. It's just, I don't know. But I feel like the U11 is probably going to end up being the phone of the year for 2017, because you do it yourself. Look at what's coming, and then you kind of decide. You know how they're going to price these. I mean, the iPhone. You think the iPhone's going to cost $650? Nah, doubt it. I mean, there'll be a model, the smaller one probably that costs $650, but possibly, I don't know. But we all know that the Note 8 is not going to cost $650, because they will be shooting themselves in the foot. Just wouldn't happen. So it's your man Jay Will. A little bit of discussion. I know this went about 20 minutes or so, but I wanted to use the U11's front camera to do this, and to let you know I feel like the U11 is such a great option that you really shouldn't overlook it. If you're thinking about a phone, HTC didn't tell me to make this. I just do videos for phones that I like. For those people, oh, he works for HTC. Oh, okay, whatever, man. The U11 is a great option. You can keep denying it if you want to. Everybody, if you love your S8, go ahead. You know, most of you guys didn't get the S8 for that low price. Most of you guys jumped out there at launch. You paid the higher price. You know, so you're kind of getting OnePlus. You know, you're getting OnePlus. Speaking of OnePlus, real fast, they released the gold version of this phone and called it a limited edition. It's a 6 gig 64. OnePlus, really? How's that a limited edition? Come on, man, stop it. U11 complete package for you. It's the complete package for me at the moment. Now that could change depending on whatever phone comes out in the near future. I don't know. But for now, the U11 is definitely the complete package for me. It's your man Jay Will. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.